Hey YouTube, I'm going to show you how to make the simplest and most delicious little breakfast casserole that you've ever had. I always wonder why we're expected to get up early and produce great food first thing in the morning. I know I don't like to. So let me show you how to do this, and you can do it the night before and stash it in your fridge and then bring it out and it looks like you got a more functional way earlier than I am. So we're going to do a sausage and cheese and egg casserole for breakfast, and we're going to start out with just lightly greasing, just cooking spray works, on a 9x13 casserole dish. And then you can use whatever kind of bread you like. I happen to like whole wheat bread. I like how it stands up to the egg custard that we're going to put on there. And just take 6 pieces, or whatever size your dish is, and lay it flat, and you can kind of work it up on the sides, right? So you just want a single layer. You can take the crust off if you want to. I just can't ever get my head around wasting that much food, so I leave it on. I think if I were doing it for a baby shower or something, I might take the crust off, but not for my kids. They gotta eat what I give them. So I browned off a pound of just plain old bulk sausage, and you just do that over medium heat. You stir it real well to crumble everything up. Not a whole lot of fat in there to drain off, but I did leave, maybe a teaspoon or 2. Then I've got 8 ounces of cheddar cheese, and this is a white cheddar. I like a nice sharp cheddar cheese. I think it contrasts really nicely against the richness of the sausage. Just shred it up. I don't buy it shredded most of the time. It costs more. That's a big thing. And I read recently in one of the nutrition journals that they use cellulose as a filler in that to keep the product moving and keep it from clumping. I don't want to feed my family bark, I guess. Okay, so 8 eggs. And you just give those a quick whisk. You could go ahead and dump the milk in here too if you wanted to. It's easier to get your eggs beaten up though before you add any additional liquid. Boom, that's it. 2 cups of milk. I use whole milk. But you can use lower fat milk if you want to. It will change the consistency of the custard base a little bit, but not so much to worry about. Alright, we're going to flavor this up because milk-based casseroles and sauces can be really bland. There's a couple of things you can do to really pop some flavor in there. So we do have about 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt. We got about 1.5 teaspoons of just plain old black pepper. Red pepper flake. Beautiful with sausage and with creamy stuff too. A couple of teaspoons of ground mustard. Okay. Love that mustard thing with cream and cheese. It's just good. So that gets a quick stir. Then, right into your casserole dish. Kind of pour slowly. Takes it a second or 2 to soak into the bread. If you dump it all in there at once and it hasn't soaked into the bread, you might overflow your casserole dish. Not that I have ever done anything like that. Just heard of other people that have done that. So I'm warning you based on that. This is awesome. If you do have something early going on, do this the night ahead. Now you don't have to make it ahead. You can do it and pop it in the oven. That works too. Then we're going to take the rest of this cheese and sausage. Yeah. And that is going right over the top. Let's get it all in there. I have to grate cheese when Joey's not here, because he eats it almost as fast as I grate it. Alright, I've got a 350-degree oven. I'm going to throw this in there. It's not covered, not anything. I'm going to let it go for about 35 to 40 minutes. It's going to get nice and puffy and golden. It's going to be great. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. Alright, so I just pulled this out of the oven, and I wanted to take just a minute to show you something, because we actually need to let this sit for about 10 minutes before we serve it. When you first pull it out, right, it's going to be nice and puffy. That's supposed to be that way, and it'll stay somewhat puffy, but it's also going to collapse just a little bit. And it just looks so pretty and cheesy and good right now. I wanted to show you that part. So I'm actually going to pull this serving up in a few more minutes, but we gotta let it rest. Now, if you don't let it rest, some of the liquids and the juices on the inside of the casserole will come running out and it'll be a little bit funky. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but if you really want that pretty serving to be cohesive and have that nice creamy thing going on, go ahead, let it rest. All right, so our breakfast casserole has now rested. I think I might have given it all of about 6 minutes altogether. And you can see it did settle some, not much, but a little bit. But resting allows all the juices and the liquids to kind of all come back in there together. So what you have is not going to have that runny thing happen near as much as if you just dive right into it. Because a lot of casseroles that are put together with eggs can have a runniness. I wish I knew why. Well, because it's not rested, that's why. But if you rest, see, check it out. We don't have that. What we have is a nice sturdy casserole. All right, wait a minute. You take a picture of that. I forgot to get a fork again because that's what I do. There we go. Isn't that pretty? I gotta tell you, you saw how easy that was. I literally threw a bunch of things together and tossed them in the oven. That is so good. Got the cheesy and the creamy and the sausage. Oh yeah. That's an edge, like you get in lasagna. So good. Try this one out. So easy and so delicious. Now, if this has helped you at all, do me a favor and hit like and subscribe. And you can find me on Twitter, you can find me on Facebook, I'm on Pinterest, and I'm on Patreon. Hop on over to Patreon and check that out. That's a huge help to me. All right, so check out the 2 books I have in the Amazon store. Happier Holidays, the Cookbook to Eat, Drink, and Stay Merry, and the Ground Beef Recipes Cookbook. And I will see you next time.